So today I thought we would work on some back bends, just nice, gentle ones. And I think we've decided we're going to take these off since there's only 3 of us in here. We're keeping our distance big time. So back bending. Back bending is the fountain of youth. It helps with youthfulness. And it is the antidote to poor posture. And poor posture, as I've said so many times, it's not just that it looks bad or sloppy. It actually affects your whole system. So when you're not lined up, even like your neck, when it's not lined up right, it can impede your sense of smell or even hearing. All of these things all the nerves run down the spinal cord. So whenever anything is kind of pinched off, it's not great. So posture is not just to look pretty, it's also to really let your body work at its best. So we're going to work on back bending, which doesn't mean like a full bridge Urdhva Dhanurasana, like full wheel in yoga. Urdhva Dhanurasana means back bend, like a full back bend that you might think of like a bridge, like in gymnastics, they call it bridge. It doesn't mean it has to be that. A back bend is any time that you're going to extend, and even like a cow pose is considered a back bend because you're bending backwards. So just think of it as that, and we'll get our bodies warmed up in order to be safe, to be able to do some gentle back bends. And camel pose, Ustrasana, is my peak pose for you guys today. So we'll just be working our way up to that. And when we do camel pose, I want you to really pay attention to your neck and make sure you don't have to take your head back. You can just keep your head right on top of your neck, neutral. And but if you do want to extend your head back, then we'll just make sure to keep your chin back and then lean back after you've kind of set your head in the right position. And I'll walk you through that later too, once we get there. Okay, so heart opening, back bending, fountain of youth, keeping our bodies nice and youthful today. So let's first just center ourselves, settle into your space wherever you are. Allow yourself to feel settled in your low body and lifted in your upper body. So it's this 2-directional dynamic. So from your hips down your legs and your feet, let yourself root down there. And then as you inhale, lengthen up from your waistline all the way up to the crown of your head. And even as you exhale, stay lifted like that and buoyant. Maybe even make some more space underneath your armpits. Lift your arms up just a little bit away from your sides, but gently. No rigidity, just gently making more space in your body. The back body itself in yoga philosophy is your support system, your best self, your higher power, your friends, your family. We have your back. The universe has your back, however you want to look at it. So lean back into that. Let your shoulders roll back and down away from your ears, but also keep them broad, like a hot air balloon, nice and buoyant. Take 5 more nice deep breaths in and out, breathing in through your nose and out through your nose. Taking the time to notice the transition between the inhale and the exhale. Will be a pause at the top of the inhale and a pause at the top of or the bottom of the exhale. After your 5th conscious breath in and out, just breathe normally and still feel that spaciousness in your body from your hips down your legs into your feet settle. From your waistline all the way up to the top of your head. Feel light and buoyant. Feel your back ribs push away from your front ribs. Maybe you're so sensitive that you can feel your back ribs and your skin push against your shirt. Feel your side ribs expand and your front ribs all the way around, like that hot air balloon expanding and contracting. Take one more nice cleansing inhale and exhale, letting out any extra stress that might be trying to hide in your body. Bring your hands in front of your heart center, palms slightly together and fingertips touch. Look down at your own hearts. May we all be more open-hearted in these crazy, confusing times. May we keep light and buoyant and open-hearted as we also settle into our roots so we feel stable and able to be a better person. Bring your arms up to a V, stretching really tall. Palms face each other. We're going to just move our hands in some different ways. So palms face each other first, and then take your hands and face them toward me. Yeah, and then turn them the other way, outward. And then back to face each other. And then back forward and then outward. If you have some sort of pain or grimace with one of those directions, you know, maybe we need to stretch it out a little bit. Lower your hands down. Now take your arms straight out in front of you and palms up. And then draw your arms into your sockets of your shoulders just a little bit. Hold it, take a breath. And then release your hands down. Good. We'll do that out to the sides now. Out to the sides with your arms. Palms up, externally rotating your arms, and then pull very gently your arm bones into the shoulder sockets. If you ever have any sort of tear or injury in the muscles or any of the connective tissues in your shoulders, if you just gently hug your arms in, it can really bring the fibers back together and they can heal that way. Keep your palms up like this and stretch your arms up to the top of the room and then interlace your fingers. Press your palms up. Keep the arms in the sockets. Don't let them pull all the way out, just gently. But you also don't want to force them down. It's that place of the middle. So we can actually practice it. So you push way up and let your arms come out of the sockets and then bring them back down really tight. But then the place of the middle is where you want to be. Take a big breath in, stretch up, and then exhale, arms down. Roll your shoulders back a little bit. And we'll do that straight forward again with the hands. If you like to interlace your fingers the other way, it'll feel weird. Just move one finger over and then push forward. Keeping the place of the middle with your arms. So you can really jam them in there, but that's not where you want them exactly. Pinching your shoulder blades, no good. And you don't want them all the way out either, just right in the middle. Take a breath in, stretch your arms up overhead again, and then slowly let your arms go out to the sides and down. And then roll your shoulders back a few times again, just warming up your shoulders. Let's switch the cross of your legs because we've been sitting like that for a while. And we'll do some side stretches. So your left hand can go down onto the floor, right arm up, and then lean. Yeah. Bottom shoulder, make sure it's not rolled forward, but roll it back. Hold and get that nice side stretch. Stretch back up and over. Other side. Just nice place of the middle stretch. Not too much, not too little, just finding that place where you get a benefit. Stretch back up Exhale your arm down, roll your shoulders back again. One more time to the side. Some people are flexible enough where you can go down onto your elbow and your opposite bun is still down. So if that's you, go for it. It can be a matter of how long your arms are or your torso. It's a matter of proportion. Look down at your bottom hand, then look back up at your top hand, lean back a little bit into that space of support, and then switch sides. So find your side bend. As you can see, when I go all the way down to my elbow, my bun lifts up, so I have to stay up. Look down at your bottom hand, gently getting into your neck, look up. Stretch up again, inhale. Exhale, release. Good job. Stretch your legs out, just stretch them out a little bit. Flex and point your toes to pump the muscles on your legs to get circulation better. Roll your ankles around. Especially in the morning, it's good to kind of start out a little slow. It like gives your body a warning. Okay, here we go. We're going to do some nice low impact exercise today. All right, so let's come up to hands and knees now. Oh, somebody's trying to come in. On your hands and knees. Okay, just a second. Just line yourself up. And we'll start our cow pose. So like I mentioned, cow is a back bend. It extends the spine. So looking up, drop your belly down and just feel that. And think about trying to widen your sits bones apart as well. So like widen your buns apart, let your groins kind of feel a little bit less rigid. And then round, look down, tuck under. So it's like the opposite. This is flexing the spine, and then we switch. Extending, inhale, widen your collarbones and shoulders, widen your sits bones and buns, making more space, and just back and forth like that. So instead of just an up and down motion, we're actually widening as well. Inhale to lift, exhale to round. Make sure you're not putting weight on your wrists. You can press into your fingertips, and you can even squeeze the base of your palm toward each other, kind of like a little paw. Couple more cat-cow, just slowly warming up your spine. Beautiful. Come back to tabletop position. And we'll make our way to downward facing dog. Hands can go forward a bit. Tuck your toes and lift your knees. Stretch your heels back toward your mat, but they don't have to touch. Bend your arms a little bit for this one and draw your arm bones in a little better, and then re-straighten your arms. And you can do this a few times, anytime, just to reassess your downward facing dog position. You can paddle your heels up and down if that feels good to you. Keeping your forearms nice and strong and hugging toward each other. And then slowly lower down onto your knees again. Lift up onto your knees. If you need a pillow or blanket, or you could roll your mat up a few times for some extra cushion if your knees are sore. Yeah. So we're not going into camel quite yet, but we're just going to work on the arms a little bit. So take one of your arms up. I've got my left arm up here. And just feel that position. And then bring your hand to the back of your neck and just gently lean back, elbow in. And then we'll switch sides. Stretch your other arm up. Nice big stretch. Take your hand to the back of your neck and lean back a bit, elbow in. And then one more time, this time both arms lifting up. Back of the head with both hands, interlace however you'd like. Elbows in, and then lean back. Just your head and neck. Feel a nice little stretch. And it should feel pretty supportive. You're leaning back into that support system. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, come on down to a child's pose. As I'm thinking about support systems, everybody that shows up to class, whether it's Zoom or in person, is my support system. So I really appreciate it. Thinking about how I wouldn't be here doing this if you weren't watching. So thank you. Forehead to the mat, or you can cross your hands and rest your forehead on your hands. Again, feel your rib cage expand in all directions, front to back and side to side. Let your shoulders relax. Let your jaw release, no wasted energy. One more nice inhale and exhale. And on your next inhale, come on up back to hands and knees. Downward facing dog again. Set your hands up well, tuck your toes, lift up. This time we're going to do a few crouching tigers. So with your feet at least hip width apart, bend your knees. Make sure your knees stay just as wide as your ankles and they don't fall inward. And then look up at your hands. You'll feel that nice curve in your back, and you'll feel hopefully your sits bones expanding side to side a bit. Big breath in. Exhale back to down dog. Shoulders away from your ears. 2 more times. Inhale, crouching tiger. Exhale, down dog. And 1 more. And down dog. Bend your knees again. This time, shift both heels with your legs bent over to the right. You can lift your left arm up if you want to. Otherwise, just keep your hand down. Back up and switch sides. Just go back and forth a few times like this. It's like a twisted crouching tiger. Back and forth. Just getting some nice big muscles working to get your body warmed up to do a little bit more extension of the spine. Good. 1 more. And then come back down to your knees. Child's pose. Hopefully that got your heart going a little bit. And then I'll have you come onto your abdomen, onto the floor. So you can push yourself forward, coming to Sphinx pose. So on your elbows. Yeah, first just feel how your spine likes this or doesn't like it. And you can actually shift your hips right and left a bit. You can help lengthen your belly longer just by isometrically dragging your elbows back a bit. It'll help you get longer through your torso and stretch your belly. And let your toes point and start to stretch the top of your feet. So rather than tucking your toes under, just see about starting to stretch the tops of your feet. A lot of us have very tight tops of our feet. A lot of times it's just from shoes or just life, or even just in yoga, always tucking under. We always want to do both directions to find that balance. And now we'll go on to our right side to do a quad stretch. So you just roll to the right, prop yourself up, bend your top leg. Hold on to your ankle or the top of your foot and stretch out the top, the front of your left leg. If your heel is already close to your buttocks, you can take it out to the side. But just feel where it feels okay to you. The bottom arm is doing some work. So press into your forearm and elbow and keep your shoulder from jutting forward. You want to keep it back. Keep it in line. 1 more breath here. Lengthen your knee longer toward your opposite foot. Give a little smile. I like to call this one sexy on the beach. Don't you feel sexy? I always say this is our sand. We're on the ocean somewhere. Oh, this might be a surfboard that I'm on. I don't know. Okay, then roll to the other side and switch it out. Press down through your supportive arm. Keep your shoulder safe, keeping it so it's not jutting forward. Pull it back. Hold and breathe. Remembering that the breath, as long as it's nice and even and not shallow or short, your body will allow the stretch to happen. Otherwise, it could lock up and not stretch very well. If your heel is already to your buttocks, you can take it up away on the side of your hip. Take a big breath in, lengthen your knee longer toward your opposite foot, and then exhale, release back to your belly. So we've been on our abdomens for a little while now. So notice if you feel any pinching. If you do, unclench your buttocks to start. Make sure you're not squeezing your butt tight. We call that turbo tailbone, and that's not good. It like jams it down too far. So unlock your buttocks, let your sits bones be freer. It even helps just to let your legs kind of flop out to the sides, heels just kind of flop, just to get a little bit more space in the low back, and then you can straighten your legs out again if you want to. Take a big breath in, take hands to underneath your shoulders, elbows in, baby cobra. Inhale, lengthen longer first, forward and up, and then exhale down. 2 more times. Inhale up, baby cobra. Baby, so you don't go up too far and you're thinking about lengthening your spine rather than just jamming your body up. Good, and then push up to hands and knees and back to downward facing dog. Take your time lifting. You can always come to hands and knees for a moment and rest, and then up to downward facing dog. Bend your legs a little bit, look up to your hands, and you're in a good spot where you could hop or walk your feet up to your hands. We're going to be in a forward fold here, and please bend your legs a lot for this one. Bend your legs so much that your belly might rest on your thighs. You could grasp opposite elbows if you want to, or you can just stretch your hands down toward the floor. Do a little side to side movement, getting into the sides of the ribs, sides of the hips maybe. Just notice where you feel it. And then bring hands to hips. Push down through your legs to rise up slowly. Head is last. Stretch your arms up. Big breath in. Palms together, hands to heart center. Look down at your own hearts again. May we continue to be open-hearted, even through the hard times. Release your hands. Good job. We came to standing. All right. So we're going to go for a warrior number 3. That's airplane. Virabhadrasana 3. So pick a leg, any leg. I'm going to start with my left. Keep your hips straight. Keep a little bit of a bend in your supportive leg just to be able to access your muscles, your strength more. The back leg, toes point down. Arms can go out to the sides or forward, and just see about balancing. You don't have to go very far. You can stay just like this. Or if you want to try, you can go down farther. See if you can keep your hips square. By bringing your back foot down, it should help you keep square there. And then very gently lift back up, reaching up through the crown of your head. Good. Let's do that same leg one more time. Same leg. First, remember that place of the middle. It's like you're rooting down, but you're also light and lifted. So your thigh bone, think about that hugging up into the hip socket a little bit to keep some strength there. Also a soft knee. And then go for it. Keep reaching up through the crown of your head. Your whole upper body is light and lifted. It's like that dynamic between the two, rooting and feeling settled, but then also being buoyant and lifting, rising. And lift up with the top of your head, reaching up. Yeah. Shake it out a bit, and we'll do the other side. Let your jaw relax, take a breath. Okay, other side. So go for it. Soft knee, hip, femur or your leg bone is up into the hip socket. And then just lean forward, keeping your upper body light and lifted. Hips square the best you can. Back toes pointing down. And then to lift up, like the upper body is lifting up all the way up through the crown of the head. Yeah, come on up when you're ready and we'll switch sides. Shake it out a bit, or not switch sides. We're doing the same side. Same side, second time. Again, soft knee, leg is in the hip socket. Go for it. Low belly can help just by staying engaged, stretching your torso longer. Hip down to keep the hips square. And then lift up when you're ready. Inhale. Stretch your arms up again, full body stretch. And hands down by your sides. Good job. Big smiles. We got this. Hopefully you feel warm enough now that we can do even some more stretches. Let's come to the front of the mat if you're not already, so we can have some room to step back. Stretch your arms forward, palms face each other. Inhaling up, finding the place of the middle. So if you rise up and you feel like I felt a little catch right in the front of my shoulder, I want to get my arm externally rotated a little bit better. It might mean I was dumping too much. So I want to keep it up, then go for it. Inhale up, exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift up, inhale. Exhale, plank pose. Take your time. You can do this on your elbows if you want to. You can also come down onto your knees right away. Keep your collarbones open. Very slowly lower down onto your belly. Cobra or up dog. And then down dog. Lift your right leg up really high. Bend your right leg, open your hip. Hold and breathe. Both arms strong and straight. Little space under the armpits. You could roll your ankle around a little bit if you want to. You could roll your knee around. Just see how you feel. Look out underneath your right armpit, opposite direction of where your foot is, your top foot. This is a little back bend. Release your top leg down slowly. Switch sides or come to child's pose for a break. Otherwise, bend the top leg. You could do ankle circle, knee circle. Look out underneath your left armpit. Keep your arms nice and straight. Take a breath again. And then exhale, release. Coming down onto your knees. Bring your right leg forward for a low lunge. So right leg forward, left leg back, and lift up. Anjaneyasana. You got it. Back toes can be tucked or under, whatever you like. Open your collarbones again. Shoulders wide, big breath in. Exhale, hands down, and then we'll switch sides. So you can literally just do kind of a switch with your legs, like a grasshopper move, or you can go back to down dog and start over. Inhale up, left leg forward, right leg back toes under or not. Collarbones open, inhale. Exhale, hands down. Switch sides again. Right leg forward, left leg back, deep or low lunge. Lift up. Turn your body to face the right and then lean over your leg. Maybe hook your elbow. Yeah. Good. Keep breathing. If you want an extra balance challenge, you could tuck your back toes under and lift your back knee. It's completely up to you, or you just stay down. Keep lengthening out through the crown of your head. Big breath in. On your exhale, hands can come down, switch sides again. And lift up, Anjaneyasana. And turn. Twist. You got it. Option to have the back knee lifting. That's up to you. Keep the length in your spine and turn a little more if you can. Full breath in. And then exhale, release. Switch back to just both knees down and lift up onto your knees again. If you need that cushion under your knees, you could roll up your mat or just make sure you're not directly on your kneecap. I like to be a little bit above my kneecap at the lowest part of my thighs. Okay, right arm. Okay, two things. First of all, you can have your toes flat like this onto the tops of the feet, or you can tuck under. You could also have a block back there to reach for or something. If your toes are tucked under, it's less leaning back because your heels are right there. Where if your toes are flat like that, you're gonna have to lean back farther. All right. So remembering that the low back, I want it to stay broad. Don't clench your butt and don't let your tailbone or your buns get too tight or rigid. So that's number one. So this is Camel Ustrasana. We'll just do one arm at a time. Do right arm. I'm gonna go right arm back, up and back. Reach for your back heel, toes tucked under or not, and opposite arm up. Push forward with your hips. Notice if there's any pinching. If so, unclench your butt, number one, to make more space. Maybe not lean back as far either. And remember, for the head and neck, you don't have to lean back. Just keep your head neutral on your neck. All right, and switch sides. If you want to, you could do a little child's pose in between. And the other side, stretching back. Push forward with your hips. Keep your spine nice and long. Head is neutral on top of your neck. Good. And then again, if you'd like to, you can go to child's pose or even just kind of lean forward a bit. Next is both arms when you're ready. So again, you can always go back to just one arm if you want to, but if you want to try both arms, your hands could just go to your hips back here and hold like for support here. Remember not to take your head all the way back yet. If we want to next, I'll show you a better way to get there. So this time, stretch both arms around and either reach for your heels or your low back and just lean back. Keep your head neutral. Push forward with your heart, open-heartedness. Lean forward if you want to for another counter pose. And then come back up. So if you want to try the full Ustrasana, we can. I'll demo it for you, but otherwise just do one arm again, like so. You do the supported, or if you're going to go all the way back, remember chin tucks in. So you want your head right on top of your neck. And a lot of us have a little bit too flat of a back of a neck and our head is too forward. So you want to take it back a bit. You can even put your fingers at your chin and kind of push. I think of it as like a turtle. Pull your turtle in, stretch your arms up, inhale, and then lean back. Maybe you take your head back, maybe not. If you are, chin is back first and lean back. Keep pushing forward with your heart and your hips. To come up, head is last. Lead with your heart. And then back to child's pose. If you'd like, you can bend your arms and place your hands on your forehead or fists. So you could stack your fists up just to be a little higher, or hands could be flat down. Take 3 more breaths just like this, resting in your child's pose, knowing that this protected kind of child's pose shape is what we want to go to a lot of times when we're feeling stressed and overwhelmed and confused and like everything is crazy. We just want to hide. But can we still, with all the chaos going on, can we still be open-hearted? That is the test. Can we look at the positive? Can we look at the silver linings? Can we stay in a place of gratitude each day, thinking of all the blessings that we have rather than all the things that we don't? It's a practice. Let's lift up. Coming on to our backs now. The ultimate support. Who's got our backs? We've got each other's backs. You can think about all the people who have your backs. So lay back. And you can bend your legs to start. Just a little gentler on your back. And then if you want, you can bring your knees in, rock side to side. Maybe do some circling. And then we'll do a gentle twist. Take your time, knees in toward your chest, and take both bent legs over to one side. Arms can go out to a T. Palms face up again if that feels okay to you. If one shoulder is lifted up off the ground, that is okay. Just gently guide it down. Doesn't ever have to touch. Just stretching that direction. And then very carefully bring your knees back up and feet to the floor. Reset your low back before we go to the other side, just by bending your legs and having your back flat on the floor. Maybe even rolling side to side a bit. And then other side, knees in, both legs bent to the other side. Arms can be out to a T, palms up. And then just hold and breathe, keeping your breath nice and even. Very carefully, knees in toward your chest again. Lower your knees down, or your feet down, and let your low back reset again. Take your right leg and roll it around a few times. Big circle with your right knee. And then cross your right ankle over your left thigh. This might be enough of a stretch for you. You can gently guide your knee open a bit more. Otherwise, if you really aren't feeling much, just lift your bottom foot up and both legs come in toward your chest more. You can hold on to the back of your leg or your knee. And we'll hold this for 5 breaths. If you feel some jammedness in your leg, bump your right hip over to the right a bit. Just kind of scooch it over to the right. And then bring both knees in a little bit closer. One more breath. And then release that side. And we'll switch it out. Roll your left knee around a bit. And then cross your left ankle over your top thigh. Check in to see if that's enough stretch. Otherwise, bring both legs in. Keep breathing and holding just very gently. Your head can relax on the floor if it's not already. And if you can't get to the back, to your back in this pose, you could always put something like a pillow or a bolster or a blanket under you so your neck is relaxed. I don't want your neck strained for this. Yeah. Let's hold one more breath and release. Good. Windshield wiper, feet go wide, and then drop both knees to one side and then the other. Just very gently opening up the hip. Noticing any sensations you might feel in your back or your ankles or your feet. Just take notice. Keep the breath even. And then when you're satisfied with the windshield wiper, bring your soles of your feet together for butterfly. For this butterfly, bend your arms and press your elbows into the mat to help lift your heart up more. Open-hearted, palms down by the sides, facing up, and just hold there. If you've arched too much and it's pinching now, just back off from it. Take some of the curve out of the back if that's pinching. 5 more breaths here. Very carefully bring your knees together. Maybe even take your hands and help bring your legs up. And then bring your feet about hip width apart. We'll go to bridge pose, not back bend, but bridge. So remembering not to clench your buttocks, just lift your hips up off the floor. You can even think about a string on your belly button lifting you up. Keep, if you want to, you can press your elbows down again, just to get you up a little bit higher. And then bring your arms underneath of you. Interlace your fingers. And maybe rock your shoulders under a little bit more. Press your knuckles toward your heels. Yeah. Press the back of your head down into the mat. Gently lift your chin. Hold, press down through your heels. One more breath here. Release your hands. Lower very slowly, like one vertebrae at a time. Down, down, down. Feeling your upper back press into the floor. Let's do that again. Inhaling and exhaling nice and slow. Lift your hips up. Roll your shoulders back and under you. Bring your knuckles. Interlace your fingers and press your knuckles toward your heels. If you want, you could clasp your hands the weird way again if you want to, which is another little stretch, also a good mindfulness thing. Press down through your heels and lift your hips up. Your buns are going to be toned, but they're not clenching and you're not tucking your tailbone. Keep your groins open. Sits bones widen. Find your breath. And then on your exhale, release your hands and lower down slowly, one vertebrae at a time. Bring your knees in again. Hold on. Even wrap your arms around. Lift your head and chest up. Squeeze. Big breath in. And then release back down. Full body stretch, arms overhead, onto the floor behind you. Stretch your legs long. Good. Release your hands down by your sides. Bend your legs again. We're going to do one more set of bridge. You can either do the regular bridge that we just did, arms bound or not. Your hands could just be down by your sides, palms down, pressing, or we're going to do a one-legged bridge. So you're going to lift your knee up toward your chest and then straighten it straight up as your hips are lifted. Okay. So we lift up to our bridge first. Place your hands however you would like. I'll keep my hands down by my sides, palms facing down. Or if you want to, you can interlace your hands underneath again, but you're going to want to use your arms to press. Press down through your left heel, bring your right knee in and stretch your right heel up toward the floor or toward the ceiling, opposite day. Press your heel down again. Press the top of your head into the mat. Keep your chin lifted slightly. Take a breath. Feel your power, and then slowly lower down, knee in again, and lower your foot down. Hips can come down to rest. Take a breath. And we'll switch sides. Lift up to your bridge pose. Press down through your right heel. Bring your left knee in, and then stretch your left heel up toward the ceiling. Find your breath to come down. Top knee comes in and down, and then lower. Shake it out of it. If you want to do that one more time, go for it. Otherwise, we'll just rest for a moment. Knees in toward the chest again. Give yourself a nice little hug. And then lower your feet down. Half happy baby and twist. So if you're doing a second set of one-legged bridge, you can meet us here. Left leg will be straight on the mat. Right knee comes in. Hold on to your right kneecap out to the side. If you can reach for your foot, reach up for your foot or your ankle and knee out to the side. Keep your straight leg grounded. Maybe even take your hand just at the hip bone to remind it to stay down. Half happy baby. And then twist, so you'll let go of your foot, hold your knee instead, and then cross your top knee over your body. Right arm can go out to the side again, palm up if you want, and then left hand can support the top knee. Keep breathing. Smile. Let your heart smile, staying open-hearted through all the chaos. And then knee in toward the chest again to release. Squeeze it in a bit toward your chest and then let your right leg go. And switch sides. So now your right leg is your support. Your right hand could go on your right hip bone if you want. Left knee in, hug it in. Open your knee out to the side. And then if you can reach your foot, go for it. Otherwise, you just keep holding on to your knee, stretching your inner thigh there. Half happy baby. Keep breathing. When you breathe well, the body will stretch better. Instead of locking up and thinking it might be getting injured, you allow it to release and open and be more spacious. Be more open-hearted. And then we'll switch to the twist. So release your hand from your foot, hold your knee. You can switch hands and then support your bent leg to cross over your body. The other arm palm up out to the side. Breathing fully. Very slowly to release. Back up, bring your knee up, squeeze your leg in toward you, and then let it release out to the sides. You can windshield wipe your legs side to side. So basically your legs are straight and you're just and they can be bent a little bit, but your feet are just going side to side, side to side. Little shaking it out windshield wiper. Bend your legs again. Just hold this position for a moment. Keep your feet wide and let your knees fall inward to rest on each other. So feet are wide. We call this TP. Just let yourself breathe here for a moment. Checking in with your body, head to toe. If you feel any tightness still, let it release. Let the front of your throat feel more open and soft. Let the back of your neck feel open and soft. Let there be more space between your toes and your fingers, your wrists and your ankles. Everything just feels lighter and more buoyant. And then very slowly make your way into Savasana. If there's any other pose you want to do before we go there, you can go for that. Otherwise, get yourself comfortable. In Savasana, just let your legs fall out to the sides, let your arms fall out to the sides. You can keep your heart lifted. You can even gently rock your shoulders under a bit to keep your chest open. And then just release toward the floor, letting your whole back body feel the contact of the floor, the back of your head, shoulders, back, buttocks, thighs, calves, heels, whatever you feel, even the back of your hands, back of your arms, elbows, all the contacts of the floor. Feel those now. And then think of at least one person that you know supports you, that has your back. Allow yourself to lean into that as your front body feels lighter. Your heart lifts, your face feels soft and smiley. Your arms, your legs, your whole front body is lifting away from that feeling of settled. Your body's going in two directions. Even imagine your body as a bubble, just expanding on the inhale, staying expanded, but settling on the exhale. You're this giant transparent bubble. Every inhale, you get bigger and lighter. Every exhale, let yourself settle a little bit more, but stay buoyant. Allow yourself to remain still, but bring your attention back to the room. And bring your attention to your breathing without moving at all. Just notice your breathing again. Expanding your whole body on the inhale like that bubble. Letting yourself settle on your exhale. We'll hold this for just a couple more breaths. You can start to move around if you'd like, starting to stretch your hands out and your feet out. Just very slowly moving, maybe making some circles with your ankles and your wrists. And then make your way back up to seated, taking your time, letting your body stay heavy. And we'll sit up in a comfortable position again. On your sits bones, you can get yourself settled there. And then let's bring hands to the chest. So right in the middle, like palm faces on your chest. Hold the center of your chest, other hand on top. Feel your open heart space, the front and the back of your body, all around. And just my wish for all of us is that we stay settled and grounded and rooted and feel the support that we have to help us stay open-hearted no matter what we're going through. Take another big breath in. Feel the warmth of your palms on your own heart center. And then bring your hands together. You are your own support as well. So keep up the good work taking care of yourselves. Get your good sleep, get hydrated and nourished, and move every day in some way. Thank you so much for practicing today. Namaste. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Andrea. Thank
Exactly.
you.
Thank you, you guys.
Thank you so
Bye.
much.